Monsoon Promise, the Dabbawala Day. The sky over Mumbai had turned the color of a moody elephant, and the first fat drops of monsoon rain were beginning to fall. Arjun, all of 8 years old, wriggled with excitement. Today was the day he would finally join his Uncle Samir on his dabbawala route. "Ready, little man?" Uncle Samir asked, his voice a warm rumble above the growing patter of the rain. He lifted a heavy wooden crate filled with stacked metal tiffins, each one a promise of a hot, home-cooked lunch for someone in the bustling city. Arjun puffed out his chest and nodded, his small hands gripping the handles of the handcart. He was ready. As they navigated the crowded streets, the rain began to fall in earnest, turning the dusty roads into slick, glistening ribbons. At a busy intersection, Uncle Samir paused to double-check the tiffins in their crate. He ran his finger along the painted codes on the lids, a complex language of symbols and colors that told him exactly where each lunch belonged. Suddenly, he frowned. That's odd," he murmured, pointing to a tiffin with a bright yellow lid. "This one doesn't match the others on this route." Arjun peered at the lid. It had a picture of a smiling sun and a series of red dots, a code he had never seen before. "What do we do, Uncle?" Arjun asked, his voice laced with worry. Uncle Samir smiled, a reassuring presence in the midst of the storm. "Don't you worry, Arjun. This is where the magic of the dabbawalas comes in." He explained that at Churchgate Station, the heart of their delivery network, they would meet with other teams. "Someone will recognize this code," he said confidently. "We are all part of one big family, and we always help each other out." As they waited for the next train, Uncle Samir told Arjun about the Monsoon Promise. "It's more than just delivering a meal, Arjun," he said, his voice serious. "It's about keeping a promise. Someone is waiting for this tiffin, depending on us, to bring them a taste of home, especially on a day like this." He painted a picture for Arjun of a doctor working a long shift, a student studying for an exam, a grandmother missing her family. "Our work is a thread that connects them all," he said, "and that thread must never be broken." The train ride was a whirlwind of noise and color. When they finally disembarked, the rain had intensified, and the streets were beginning to flood. They turned a corner and came to a sudden halt. The lane ahead was a swirling river of brown water, impassable for their handcart. Arjun's heart sank. "We'll never make it, Uncle," he said, his voice trembling. "Let's just go back." Uncle Samir put a steadying hand on Arjun's shoulder. Now, little man," he said, his voice calm and reassuring. "A dabbawala never gives up. Remember the Monsoon Promise?" He pointed to a narrow alleyway they had passed earlier. "There's always another way, Arjun. We just have to be clever enough to find it." They retraced their steps and found the alleyway. It was a tight squeeze, but they managed to push the cart through. As they emerged on the other side, Arjun's eyes fell on a tall building with a distinctive blue and white striped awning. Suddenly, he remembered the code on the mismatched tiffin, the smiling sun and the red dots. "Uncle, look!" he shouted, pointing to the building. The sun and the dots, they matched the stripes on the awning. They rushed into the building and found themselves in the lobby of a hospital. A friendly receptionist directed them to the nurses' station on the 3rd floor. There, they found a young nurse sitting at a desk, looking tired but grateful. "My tiffin!" she exclaimed, her face breaking into a wide smile. "I didn't think it would make it through the storm. Thank you so much." As they made their way home, the rain had finally stopped, and the sun was beginning to peek through the clouds. Arjun felt a warm glow in his chest that had nothing to do with the weather. He had helped keep the Monsoon Promise. He had learned that being dependable wasn't about grand gestures, but about the small, everyday acts of keeping your word. That evening, as his mother was preparing dinner, Arjun noticed that the stack of clean plates was teetering precariously on the edge of the counter. Without being asked, he carefully moved them to a safer spot. His mother looked at him, a surprised and pleased smile on her face. Arjun just smiled back. He had made a new promise to himself, a promise to be dependable, not just in the bustling streets of Mumbai, but in the quiet corners of his own home. And he knew, with a certainty that filled his heart, that it was a promise he would always keep.